Welcome, everyone, to this deep dive. Today, we're really jumping into Tessa Bailey's It Happened One Summer. If you've read it, you probably know it feels like this really charming romantic comedy, almost like a warm hug. But, underneath that lovely surface, it actually unpacks some pretty significant stuff. So our mission today is to explore how Bailey blends that Hollywood glamour with the grit of a small town. And what that journey, Piper Bellinger, going from banished LA socialite to finding unexpected love, what that really tells us about identity, family, grief, and finding yourself.
Right, exactly. And what's so striking, like right from the start, is how Bailey uses that physical contrast. Piper's super high-fashion LA life versus this rugged fishing town, Westport, up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, the difference is huge.
It really is. And it's not just scenery, right? It feels like a deliberate stripping away of everything she uses for validation. It forces her into this space where real personal growth isn't just possible, it's almost like inevitable. That collision of worlds really drives the whole story.
That physical contrast hits you immediately. Okay, so let's zero in on Piper's world back in LA before all this happens. What was her life like there?
Well, Piper Bellinger is basically the queen of the social scene. Think, designer clothes, parties that look perfect on Instagram, charming everyone.
Right.
But you kind of hit on it earlier. She's gorgeous, fashionable, always the center of attention, but deep down, kind of aimless. Her stepfather, Daniel, he's this wealthy entertainment mogul. He raised her in a world where, honestly, money solves pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And it's a shaky foundation for becoming self-reliant, isn't it?
And that foundation just completely cracks, doesn't it? There's this wild rooftop party. It gets totally out of hand. They break into a hotel pool. She gets arrested.
Yeah, classic LA scandal.
And that's it for Daniel. That's his breaking point. But what's interesting is his consequence. Why send her there specifically? What makes that move so effective?
That's a really good point, because it's not just like random punishment. It feels really strategic. He banishes Piper and her younger sister, Hannah, to Westport, Washington, to run their late father's old rundown bar for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And the conditions are strict. No fancy clothes, no assistant, no credit cards, nothing. Daniel's essentially forcing her into a situation where all her usual crutches are just gone.
Right.
It's kind of a fascinating question he's posing, isn't it? Can someone who relies so much on external stuff, like validation from others, actually find internal worth when everything's taken away?
And Piper's reaction is pretty much what you'd guess, total horror. Westport to her is like the absolute middle of nowhere.
Like the end of the earth.
But, her reputation in LA is already kind of shot, so she doesn't really have much choice but to agree. It's her only way to maybe fix things. Okay, so Piper and Hannah get to Westport, and it must feel like landing on another planet.
Oh, completely.
The salty air, these creaky old wooden docks, fishermen everywhere, just a total 180 from polished LA. It sets the mood immediately.
It really does. And right away, the town brings up memories of their dad, Henry Cross. He was this beloved fisherman, apparently died at sea when Piper was really young. She barely remembers him, but his name means a lot in Westport. And then, almost instantly, boom, they meet Brendan Taggart.
Ah, Brendan.
Yeah, gruff, bearded, no-nonsense sea captain. And he takes one look at Piper and just instantly pegs her as useless and spoiled. You know that vibe?
Oh, yeah. Total judgment.
Total judgment. And it's brilliant because his immediate cynicism, it just perfectly sets up that, grumpy sunshine dynamic. His attitude really highlights Piper's hidden strength, her potential to grow.
And Piper's just so stung by that judgment. It's like he hit a nerve she didn't even realize she had.
Right.
That sting, it actually, it motivates her. She immediately vows, okay, I'm going to prove this guy wrong.
I heard that.
So the sisters check out their dad's old bar, the No Name, and it's a disaster.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Peeling paint, broken furniture, sticky floor, smells like fish. It's more than just a setting, right? It feels symbolic.
Definitely. It represents this kind of raw, unpolished reality she has to deal with now. Her inheritance, basically.
And she has zero bartending skills. No Wi-Fi. No fancy coffee. I mean, for an LA socialite, that's basically a nightmare scenario.
It absolutely is. And, despite clashing right away, Brendan keeps showing up.
Yeah.
We find out pretty quickly he's a widower. His wife died years ago. And he's built this incredibly strict, almost rigid routine around his life.
Like clockwork.
Exactly. Fishing, fixing things at home, eating dinner at the same place every night, that kind of thing. Piper arriving is like throwing a glitter bomb into his super organized world.
Huh. Yeah.
At first, he finds her just so frustrating. But then underneath all that, sparkle, he starts seeing these little flashes of actual determination.
Mm.
And the interesting thing isn't just that his routine gets disrupted, but how the story shows that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's actually needed for real connection.
Yeah.
It forces him to rethink things.
Right. So as time goes on, Piper does start making connections with the townspeople. She starts learning about the dangers the fishermen face, how tight-knit the community is, more about her dad's life there. And slowly, she starts feeling this unexpected, pull towards Westport. And Hannah, too, right? Her sister starts thriving as well.
Yeah, Hannah finds her own footing, too, which is great. She's quieter, more into music, but she starts picturing a different life for herself there.
And what about Brendan? What's happening with him while all this is going on?
Well, he keeps helping Piper with the bar repairs. Even though he grumbles about it, saying he has better things to do.
Of course.
Their banter is super sarcastic, really sharp, but there's this undeniable chemistry building underneath it all.
Yeah.
It's actually really sweet how her laugh and her warmth start to kind of fill this void in his life.
Yeah.
A void that's been there since his wife died. It's like he's waking up again.
Then comes that turning point. There's this evening, they have a really emotional talk, right, about her dad, his late wife, and all that tension just snaps. They share this really heated kiss, and that changes everything for both of them.
Yeah, that's definitely the point of no return. But it immediately gets complicated because of their pasts. Brendan starts worrying, is she just going to get bored and go back to L.A., leave him like he lost his wife. That fear of loss is huge for her.
Then for Piper, too, but differently.
Right. She's terrified of falling for someone who works at sea, someone she could lose just like she lost her father. It raises that really tough question.
Yeah.
How do you build a future together when you both have these deep-seated fears rooted in past losses?
It's intense.
Very. But despite all that anxiety, they just can't seem to stay away from each other.
And their connection grows in these really lovely, specific ways. Piper starts cooking for him. They go for walks. She asks real questions about his life, his work. And Brendan, he surprises her with these thoughtful gestures, like fixing things at the bar without her even asking. It's those little things that show the shift, isn't it?
Absolutely. Those quiet actions speak volumes about how he's starting to feel.
And as the weeks keep rolling by, Piper really does transform. It's quite remarkable. She's not obsessing over Instagram anymore. She's actually handling tough bar shifts, wearing practical clothes.
To have their hands dirty.
Yeah. And she's feeling like actual pride in her work ethic.
It's a fantastic arc, and it's layered, too. She's also finding out more about her father. She talks to his old friends, hears stories about him, and this really deepens her connection not just to Westport, but to her own history, her roots.
Right, understanding where she came from.
Exactly. And Brendan, meanwhile, he went from seeing her as this temporary disruption to actually imagining a real future with her. But he struggles with his protective side. He doesn't want her to fully grasp how dangerous fishing can be.
Afraid she'll bolt if she knows the real risks.
Yeah, he's afraid she'll walk away.
Yeah.
And what's powerful here is how their individual fears about loss, about the sea, start to intertwine. It pushes them closer, but also brings their deepest anxieties right to the surface.
And of course, that 3-month deadline is looming. That creates a lot of pressure.
Huge pressure.
Her stepfather expects her back in L.A. Her old friends are sending invites to fancy parties. And Piper herself, deep down, probably still wonders if she really belongs in Westport for good.
Yeah, that self-doubt is still there. Then comes another really key moment. Brendan takes her out on his boat.
Oh, right. The fishing trip.
Yeah, she sees it firsthand how rough, how unpredictable fishing life is. It's exciting, but it's also genuinely terrifying for her. It forces her to face that fear of losing him head on.
And it's big for Brendan, too, isn't it?
Massive. He realizes in that moment, I think, that he's actually willing to break his rigid routine, maybe even change his whole life if it means keeping her. It really underscores that idea of needing courage to step outside your comfort zone for love, even when it's scary.
So then Piper gets this offer, go back to L.A., big social media sponsorship, fancy apartment, basically everything she thought she wanted 3 months ago.
Yep, the ultimate test.
And how does Brendan react?
This is where things get really emotional. He gets scared she'll choose L.A., so he pulls back, tries to protect himself.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And Piper, naturally, misreads it, thinks he doesn't want her enough. It leads to this big, painful confrontation.
That sounds rough.
It is. But that separation, that fight, it's actually crucial. It forces them both to realize the truth. Piper knows she's not the same person anymore. That LA life doesn't fit. And Brendan knows he absolutely cannot imagine his future without her.
That clarity that comes from distance sometimes.
Exactly. That absence makes the heart grow fonder, or at least clearer.
And that sets up the big grand gesture moment,
Oh,
right?
yeah. It's fantastic. Brendan totally breaks character, breaks his routine.
Prezi dear.
He sails his boat all the way down to L.A. to find her, to tell her exactly how he feels. After years of playing it safe, he goes all in.
Wow, that's huge.
It really is. And Piper meets him halfway, emotionally. She admits that home, for her, isn't place anymore. It's about who she loves. So she chooses Westport. Not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because she's found her purpose there, with him.
It's such a satisfying choice.
It really is. And it's compelling, because you see both of them actively breaking free from their past fears and limitations to grab onto this future together.
Yeah.
Really speaks to the power of being vulnerable and making that connection.
So the story ends with Piper and Brendan really together, building this life that kind of blends their different worlds. The no-name bar is thriving. Piper's genuinely part of the Westport community. She found her place.
She really did. And Brendan's grown so much, too. He learns that loving someone new doesn't mean erasing the past, but you can build something new alongside it, integrate it. Their romance ends up being really passionate, but it's also deeply rooted in respect, in vulnerability, and honestly, the courage it took for both of them to change so profoundly. It kind of highlights that bigger idea, you know?
Yeah.
That finding where you truly belong often means challenging your own ideas about yourself and where home is supposed to be. Sometimes it's the most unexpected places and people that redefine everything.
So thinking about all this, what are the big takeaways for us, for you, the listener? It Happened One Summer really digs into some key themes, doesn't it? Personal growth Piper's journey is incredible.
Definitely. From superficial to totally self-reliant.
Then there's grief and healing, how they both learn to move forward without forgetting the people they lost.
Right. And belong in that idea that home is where you can truly be yourself, not just a zip code.
And finally, love that challenges you, that pushes you to be better, even when it's hard.
Exactly. It's so much more than just a simple romance. It's this warm, funny, witty story about finding your place, even if it's literally the last place on earth you expected.
Yeah.
Piper's transformation feels earned, which is so satisfying. Brendan's devotion is, pretty swoon-worthy. And Westport itself, it almost becomes its own character, this place you kind of fall in love with, too. It really shows how our environment shapes us.
Absolutely. So, as you think about our deep dive today, here's something to mull over. What place, or maybe what person, or even just an unexpected turn in your own life helped you realize where you truly belong? Even if, maybe especially if, it was the last place you ever expected to find yourself. Something to think about on your own journey of self-discovery and belonging.